The big boys of Cabernet. You typically find in California heavier Cabernet as opposed to when you get into Bordeaux or even Super Tuscan, that they are more of a blend with a basic Cabernet. So straight up Cabernet. And this is Heights Cellars. For those of you that know Napa Valley Cabernet, Heights Cellars, been around forever. They make a very consistent, wonderful product. And again, this happens to be a 2018. These guys will hold these wines in their cellar before they think, okay, well, it could be ready to drink now. And then they'll release it, which I love, because to me that says, I can buy that off the shelf, I can buy that from a restaurant, and I know that it's ready to drink. Because sometimes you get some of these big, heavy hitting wines and you drink them when they're a little bit too young, they're super aggressive. They haven't had a chance to really kind of soften up. And again, that makes it challenging for food. Faust, they haven't been around anywhere near as long as Heights has, but they've done a great job of making a fantastic product. This happens to be the number 4 wine on the recent Top 100 Wine Spectator. Very difficult to get. We did get an allocation of it, but point being is that it's that good. And again, for those of you that might not necessarily know Faust, it's not a giant winery. I mean, it does have some, it's a sizable winery. But these are the kinds of things that we serve at the restaurant. I like to find special things, not because Wine Spectator told me it was special. I've been serving this before they told us it was special. Why? Because this wine is amazing. This wine is less expensive, but yet this wine has a higher rating. Go figure. But the point is that I like to try to find things that over-deliver for my guests. It's all about perceived value. And when it comes to wine out of California, it's very tough to get an excellent bottle of wine for something that's it appears to be affordable. And I think the Faust is one of the top producers that will deliver that affordability factor and give you that high quality that you're looking for out of California. Now we move on into the blends. So this is Bordeaux Pauillac, which is known to be Cabernet based. This happens to be Petit Verdot, Cabernet, Malbec, Merlot, and that's what they call the Bordeaux varietals. It's a blend of that. This particular wine, there's a long story. It's a father that died, and then he left his daughter one vineyard and his son one vineyard. This happens to be the Comtesse, which is for the daughter, and then there's the other side, which is the son. But again, Bordeaux Pauillac, Cabernet-based blend. Big, lush. You're not going to get the same type of oak treatment that you get out of these guys as well. They tend to be a little bit leaner on the oak, which I do prefer, but there is some oak aging to these wines as well. The impact of oak on Cabernet can add such just a powerful mouthfeeling that oak provides, as well as flavor components also as well. But you tend to, in the States, you get a little bit heavier oak content, plus sometimes we use American oak. These two guys do use French oak. The difference between American and French oak, you have a tighter grain, right? So American oak, it's a little more of a loose grain, so you have a heavier influence of the oak on the wine, versus French, it's a tighter grain, so you don't quite get that same aggressive oak flavor. But it's all personal preference. Like the Aussies, for example, their Cabernets and their Shirazes, they're big oak because they're just big varietals, and they need that really aggressive. That's just their style. They want that nice, big, aggressive oak style. Then we get into Super Tuscans. So the whole story, I'm going to be as quick as I can about the Super Tuscans, and I love telling the story because it's a fascinating story. Italy is they're very firm on all of their laws when it comes to making wine, which I think is a great thing, because you're only allowed certain types of varietals to blend together, certain alcohol levels, certain amount of oak age, certain amount of bottle age, before they'll classify it as, for example, Chianti Classico and whatnot. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that and are familiar with that. But the Super Tuscan aspect, you had a group of people, small group of people at the time, that said, you know what, we're not going to adhere to your rules because we feel that we're doing a better job producing these other varietals, such as Cabernet specifically, instead of Sangiovese Grosso, stuff like that. But they said, I think our Cabernet and our Merlot is of the highest quality, and it can match the Bordeaux's of wines of the world. And Italy was like, well, we're just going to give you what they call an IGT, which is like a basic table wine. Well, you had producers like Ornelas, Sassicaia, Lupicaia, all these producers that were like, look, we're going to make, of course, I don't think Lupicaia was around back then, but anyways, we're going to make the wine that we want to make. And lo and behold, what happened? You had the creation of the Super Tuscan. Cabernet based, you can do Cabernet Franc, there's Merlot, they do Sangiovese, some of them even do Syrah. But the idea is it's Cabernet and Merlot based, which in this particular area, which is Tuscany, the king is Sangiovese. So Cabernet based, again, this is a higher end style wine. It's more of a special occasion style wine, but if you ever have an opportunity to try this, you'll see why. These wines are so special, they're so delicious, and I'm so glad that they had people that were saying, look, we're gonna go rogue and we're gonna make our own wines, because now these are some of the most expensive and some of the best wines that are produced in the world, alongside, you know, these wonderful California wines and these wonderful Bordeaux as well. So again, try Super Tuscans, delicious, you'll love it.